This is Ray coming to you from the heart of Wrensong. And I am inside taking a break from the heat. It's the middle of September 2025, and the heat's coming back. We've had a little bit of a cool spell, but we're going to be in the 80s during the day, and things still need to get done outside. And so I go at it for a while, and then I bring myself in, have a nice cool sip of water with a little bit of apple cider vinegar in it. You might not like the taste, but I've grown accustomed to it, and it really does seem to be really good for rehydrating me. Find your own thing, right? Your mileage may vary. But I've been thinking about you while I've been outside planting my fall garden from seed. And the fall garden is actually the garlic bed that will not be occupied by garlic until late October, early November here in Zone 6, U.S. Midwest. So, but I'm out there dealing with real life, which is I've sorted through seeds and decided what I'm going to put out there. And I've rebooted, pardon the tech expression, I've refreshed the garlic bed post-harvest, and things are actually going along really, really well. And my cat, Joe, what a great guy. I've talked to you about him before. He also reminded me that if I didn't fix up the little temporary fence I have around that garden, that he will use it as a litter box. He just gave me fair warning. He said, look, I'm a cat. I'm a good cat. Good cats like loose, friable soil to potty in. And he said, and this fence, look, let me show you. Look, see how easily I can push it over? Thank you, Joe, I said. And inside I said, why do cats have to be this way? But I've already talked to you about that. Cats will be cats. Okay, thanks for the heads up, Joe. I would hate to go to all the trouble of getting my seeds in the ground today, only to find out that you've tossed everything around while you dig a hole. All right, so I followed my own advice of the 4 A's, right? Awaken, become aware of what's going on. Assess, accept. That was what I really had to work on today. Accept, this is how it works. And then adapt. Okay, it's not rocket science, but it is challenging some days, especially when it's really warm and I really just want to get it done. I think that's the biggest reason that I take shortcuts, is I just want it done because I have a bunch of other things to do. All right, so I took time out, thought about what I really needed to do, which is not that complicated. I just needed to essentially reseat the whole temporary fence set up there after I seeded my vegetables for the fall garden. But between grumbling a little bit to myself about cats, who, by the way, do a really good job of controlling rodents in the house and in the around, so I got no gripe. They help me out. They really do. And they're decent companions. So actually they're great companions in case they ever watch this video. But while I was going through all this, I kept thinking about you. I don't know your names, but there are people watching this video who are nervous about the price of food in the grocery store and are thinking, I really ought to have a garden, and I don't know anything about it, and I don't have a lot of space, and it's too late anyway. It's September in Zone 6 or similar Zone 4, 3, 5. And I want to tell you a couple things, okay? I want to tell you a couple things. Take a deep breath. All right. It is rarely, some people say never, but I'll modify it. It is rarely too late. I garden year round. I mean 366 days a year. Okay. I grow something year round. You can call it gardening or not, or just I produce something year round. It's taken a while to get here, but you can. Okay. All right. So take a deep breath. You can figure it out. And something that I tell myself is, okay, Ray, you're not going to be able to like grow Doritos in your garden or grow, donuts or whatever you like to eat quick, there you can grow in a fall garden what will grow in a fall garden. And so there was this Chinese fortune cookie, a friend of mine, fortune taped to his mirror one time that said, when we have not what we want, we must want what we have. You could argue about that, but it did stick with me. So with gardening and growing your own food, if one is used to pre-prepared, quick and easy, zap it in the microwave food, there's going to be an adjustment because Hot Pockets do not grow in the garden. And there's nothing wrong with Hot Pockets, but there's just things that just don't grow in the garden. I don't grow corn here. It takes a bit of knowledge that I don't have. And I got raccoons and other critters, running around. So I would have to create a much safer environment, which essentially drives up the cost of my corn, on a per ear basis. So I don't grow corn. I let other people grow corn. I let them manage all that. So you do need to adjust what you want. So for example, a really easy late summer thing to plant that you can grow in containers if you need to is radishes. You can also grow pak choi, also known as bok choy. You can, with a big enough container, you probably could get away with growing some chard. It's also called Swiss chard or beetroot, spinach, lettuce, collards, especially if you're south of here. Like I say, if you're in zone 7, 8, collards are a great choice. There are some northern collards that can be grown. Kale. And remember, this is late season, and so the plants aren't going to get huge necessarily. And sometimes interesting things happen. But I'm talking, you're going to be able to harvest stuff that's about this big, essentially baby. You've seen it in the grocery store, like baby greens, right? But you can get them going. Radishes should form some roots. They won't be, again, you're not going to get something immense, so you can grow, for example, you can plant beets. You're not going to harvest necessarily big beets. I'm talking about growing outside in this climate, this time of year. But you'll get greens. You can get turnip greens. So it's something. It's a start. My friend Marika used to say, you start with nothing and you get something. And then you go from something to something better. Okay, these are things I have to chant to myself, especially when I'm feeling very impatient, feeling like I'm behind, feeling like I've missed my window. And I just want to pass this along to you. So there's a dirty secret. I titled this about the dirty secret that many beginning gardeners don't hear about. And sometimes people don't entirely seem to catch on to this dirty secret. And that is, it's about your soil. I call it a dirty secret because so many times instructions begin with, you plant this. Into what? Okay. So you need good soil. Some plants are real champions. They will grow in just about anything. But to have a really well-rounded, healthy plant that doesn't have a pest problem, okay, that doesn't have a disease problem, you need really good soil. Think of, so many times we talk about our gut health and how that's an important part of our immune system. Well, soil is like the guts of plants. And there's a microbiome in the soil, just like we have a microbiome. And so your plant's immune system is the soil, starts in the soil anyway. Okay, it starts in the soil. So there's the dirty secret, because you don't have to worry about pests and disease if the soil is healthy enough. I kid you not. You can go do some research on that, but it really has been shown to be true. And I've done it. I've seen it for myself in my own gardens, both sides of it. The pest-ridden and disease-ridden side, and the oh wow, I can't believe that the grasshoppers and the mildew haven't attacked my pumpkins. I must have done something right this time. Okay, so soil is an important thing, and I'm not going to go into a lot of details here. I'm already kind of running long on this video. But I want to say, again, I'll reiterate, don't worry about being behind the 8 ball. You can start some things this time of year. You can get some things growing, and it may be even the best time of year to start gardening, because your expectations can be lower, and you can get a little something in this fall and learn from that, and then have the winter time to think about it and plan, and then you can get your spring, summer garden going next year, and you'll know more and you'll be ahead of the game. Okay. Something else I wanted to tell you is, when you've got a garden going, just like when you've got just about any other project going, there are 3 things you could have, but you can only have 2 of the 3. Okay. The 3 things you could have with your garden project. All right. You could have it fast, you can have it right, or you can have it cheap, inexpensive. I hate the word cheap. All right. So cheap meaning inexpensive. So those are your 3. You can choose from these, but you can only choose 2 of these 3, right? Fast, right, cheap. When it comes to soil, that's the same thing when you're just starting out. So if you want something really fast and really right, you're going to need to find really good composty soil material somewhere, somehow. You might have a friend, hopefully you have a friend who does their own composting and has knowledge of soil and compost and microbial life in the soil, who can help get you started up. Okay. And again, maybe you just start with some containers, because that's the amount of soil that's available or affordable. If you go to a reputable place, get some reputable product, there are some fairly reputable products available. That's another video for another channel. But you can start that way. And that's not the cheap way, but you can have it fast and right if you do it that way. Okay, so I'm not going to expand on all the other permutations, but just think about that. You need to decide, which way you're going to go. A couple of other ideas for growing food, things that I do, is you can grow microgreens. Those you can grow year round. You need a little bit of a setup. You need a light source. You need a container, some seeds. You need a growing medium. Again, that's another video for another channel. But you can do that. You can get mushroom kits and grow mushrooms. You can, if you consider, this is a stretch, but you can make kombucha and kefir, K-E-F-I-R. We often call it kefir or kefir, but it's a fermented milk product. Kombucha is fermented tea, Trust me, the alcohol is like minuscule in that. It's kind of like fancy vinegar, really. Um, you can look that up. But so, as Marie Forleo would say, everything is figure outable. Okay. So I just again let's just kind of circle back. Healthy soil, complete with it, the microbiome of the soil, the good biology in the soil. That's really vital to successful gardening. It hurts me to see people put in all kinds of effort, but they miss that dirty secret that nobody told you is the health of the soil is the health of the plant, is your health. Okay. You've got to have that basis. Okay. You can figure it out. You just need to decide which of the three, the right, the fast, and the cheap, that you want this go round. It can change, season to season. And you can figure it out. There are lots of ways to do it right. And it's good to have friends. I don't know, I'm not going to tell you how to make friends or how to find friends, but there are garden clubs, and in any club, there are the people who think they know everything, and they're not really open to new ideas. But you can also find people in permaculture groups, regenerative agriculture groups. I'm talking on Facebook and in real life. Okay, so you can reach out and find these people. A lot of us are busy in our gardens, but in some other social circles, you just kind of get the conversation going. And if they start telling you what you should spray on your tomatoes, to kill the hornworms, just thank them and just note to self, probably not the person or group that I really want to follow for their lead. Everybody is doing their best. All right. Everybody's doing their best. And I understand things differently now than I used to. All right. So I just wanted to, I'm going to close this. I know I'm repeating myself, but these things are important. They're important. I want you, the person beginning, the person feeling under pressure, the person who's sweating it at the cash register in the grocery store. There are things you can do. There are groups, some community gardens. Frankly, there are food distribution. America's Second Harvest, there's some decent food, coming in. They don't ask questions. Yeah, I know from experience. Okay. All right. I've needed to go for a family member. I've needed to go get some help with that. So, you can figure it out. Take a step back, take a deep breath. There are people in the world who care about you and who are happy to reach out and offer what they can. And you need to work it out for your particular situation. But you can do that. You can do that. You can awaken to the problem, right? And you can assess it, and you can adapt. And that's what any and all of us are doing all the time. Well, it's time for me to get back out there. I'm sure it's at least 80 degrees and sunny. Isn't that nice? So this is Ray, signing off here from the heart of Wrensong.